Hello, Slickworks fans. So I'm at the point where my car is now fully sanded out in 600 grit and it's ready for paint. But is it ready for paint? Am I ready to paint it? Not quite yet, because I've got this area in here to deal with. So I've got my inner sprayed out, of course, but I figured probably best to deal with the trunk now, finish the trunk, get it to the point where I can close it and then just paint the car and it's all finished. So I'm gonna have my new deck to install, the subwoofer box to install, the amp to wire up, and I'm gonna make some filler panels because I got this big nasty spare tire well and it's not gonna look so good when the subwoofer is kind of hanging over the edge. So I'm gonna make a sheet of plywood, wrap that with trunk liner material, as well as some other filler panels, I think, for that side and this side here. So I'm gonna start by making a big paper template for it, transferring the paper template to a cardboard template, taping it all together, making sure I can pull it in and out of the trunk easily, and then finally transferring it to a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood, which I'm gonna staple my trunk material to. So here's my paper template. I've decided I'm not actually gonna transfer it to cardboard first. I'm gonna go straight to the plywood. It's waiting on the bench over there. I am gonna use the cardboard, however, I want to build some filler pieces to go in there. There's going to be a lot of base back here, so I want to minimize the rattle. So I'll probably squirt in some spray foam and then stick some filler pieces, or I'll probably just use my Killmat sound deadener in there and then put those pieces up there so it just looks a little cleaner, right? Okay, got this piece done here, so that's just gonna fit right up in the corner here. Of course, when it's made out of 1/2-inch plywood, it's not gonna be so easy to install, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out anyways. It's kind of a weird gap. It'll do. You know, the funny thing about YouTube is, because obviously I need this cut out of 1/2-inch plywood here, but I think if I just take this and hold it kind of right there, just go like this at just the right angle. Yeah. There we go. That'll do. So there's one thing that I made in one of the way earlier episodes of Slickworks, and I was keeping it for the Astre, but as most of you know, I've sold the Astre, so I figured I could put it in a lowrider too. Why not? You know, you get thirsty. So this is what we got in here now. I put this nitrous bottle, 100 shot. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so this is a little cooler that I made in an early episode. It's actually even got its own little, what's this here, 10 mil? Of course it's a 10 mil. Its own little 10 mil kickstand for the door too. So if you're at a car show or whatever, you know, fill that thing full of ice, put a couple cold drinks in there. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in this car. Why not? And now, I mean, the red stand obviously has to get painted, right? So I'll paint the red stand, the body color, and I'm gonna make some filler panels that'll just finish it off nicely. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so the trunk is coming along. Because my subs are like custom cut for this trunk, I brought this up 1/2 inch, so I had to bring this part up 1/2 inch too because of that shape, right? So I'm not happy with this edge though, how it dives down. How it dives down right here, it's kind of at like a 90. So I'm gonna use my skill saw to find that angle, set that on the tool, and then probably measure back like an inch, just so I got a bit of wiggle room in the back to move it forward and get it lined up, and that should look pretty sick. definitely went to plan. You can see that's at the perfect angle all the way along. So that is, once this is wrapped with the trunk material, that's gonna look just perfect. And then yeah, the angle stays the same here. So I mean, sub box will just fit nicely in there. I'm just hoping that clearance isn't gonna be an issue, because these trunks slope, right? But I think our measurements had enough wiggle room to make this work. I really hope. So I decided to just make this extra filler piece from the top part to the down part, I guess. It's cut at the same angles, only it's like 1/2 inch short. And I just realized I don't have enough material to add a 1/2 inch on this. So being weird, I think I'm just gonna cut out like an extra 1/2 inch out of this strip and then just glue it to the bottom of this piece, I guess. Desperate times, right? I think it'll hold. It'll be good. Okay, well, here we have it with that extra 1/2 inch just taped on for now, but just taped on the bottom for now, but you can see it's gonna be flush, as well as this. Like, that angle lines up perfectly with that angle, so it's nice and flat. So this is all working out. Yeah, I'm stoked about this. Well, it's a new day and I've just got back from the textile store with my trunk liner fabric. So it's time to get all this stuff wrapped. I'm gonna give everything just a quick coat of spray adhesive. And then once that tacks up, slap it on, cut it out, wrap it around, staple it down, and all the pieces will be done in an hour or two, I think. Okay, so all the trunk pieces are done and they look fantastic. Super stoked about that. But now over here on the bench, I have, roughly 60 pounds of this kill mat. It's like basically like a giant butyl sheet that you peel and stick, and then you roll it out with these here fancy roller thingies. And yeah, so this will hopefully get rid of some of the inevitable rattles that naturally come with a car that's born in 1983. So we'll see what we can do. Well, I made it through a box and 3/4, so I still have a whole other box and that left. But look at this, guys. Oh my goodness, I am sore all over. This was a heck of a job, but it'll be worth it. Yep, that was a lot, but it's done. Bit of a mess to clean up, bit of a mess. Well, I've got the sound deadening in it, and I just threw all my trim pieces back in. You can still see some of the sound deadening around the outside, so I'm not sure. I asked a friend of mine, he said, yeah, make some pieces that'll cover it up, but I'm not sure how crazy I want to go with it. I'll show you guys what I mean. It's so black in here, you can barely see what's going on. So let's just crank up the brightness. Yeah, so So I kind of wanted to, actually I didn't even roll this section because I kind of like the pattern for some reason, you know, as opposed to this where you can see it's obviously been rolled. Yeah, so those two corners I didn't even roll. But I don't know, like, do I keep it? Do I get rid of it? Like this, I'm not worried about this. I kind of like how all this is showing, to be honest. But yeah, this down the side, maybe that piece, that corner, that piece, and maybe this section, maybe, if I feel like it. So I'll see what I can do with my scraps that I have left over. And if I got enough, I'll make some pieces and spray glue them and slap them in there. Okay, so I've got pieces made for everything that's showing except this one little strip here. I actually had to go out and buy a whole other yard of fabric. So it's 1 yard by 54 inches just for a literally like a 2-inch by 10-inch strip right in there because my scraps are not big enough. So yeah, so I'm gonna fix that right now. Well, it's finished. All the panels are in the trunk and screwed in. I should have taken a video before I threw the sub box in, but I couldn't help myself. Have a look at this. Oh, I mean, look at that. That box takes up some real estate back there. Holy crow. And I don't know if I have enough room for the amp on the top anymore. Like this is monstrous. But how cool is that? Well, that's the look of the trunk done. Not bad for 3 days work, but that's all I'm gonna give you guys because wiring up the whole sound system is gonna be a whole other episode, a whole other process. And I've never done something this extreme before. So join me with that next time. As always, if you guys liked what you saw, please hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that. Also, Slickwork sound effect, sound clip of the day of today, this episode or whatever. It took 2 episodes for someone to get it right. Someone finally did. That someone is my father. Well done, Dad. You got the sound effect right. It was in fact a flathead Ford. Now, this week's sound effect is right here. Figure out what it is. If you think you know what it is, comment down below and you'll get a shout out next episode. So there it was, folks. If you think you got it, comment below. If you don't think you got it, comment below anyways. Tell me something about yourself or where you live or where you're watching this. Turns out I just found out with YouTube's analytics that the most translated language of Slickworks is Indonesian. Who knew? Not me. All right, thanks guys. We'll catch you guys next time. I just realized this thing takes up so much space. There's no more room for the nitrous bottle over there. That's okay. Well, we're down here in Oregon on a road trip to pick up this truck for my friend Billy. And this thing's pretty sweet. Check this bad boy out. Down in Oregon. So this is Billy's new US ride. Got a 350 in her, 4x4. This thing's pretty sweet. Just took it for a test drive. Turns the tires all right. It's got all sorts of funky suspension work done to it. It's got its little quirks, but definitely a nice ride. I'd be happy with it. Look at this seat. Look at that upholstery. Yeah, nice unit. Yeah, and she's got just enough zip ties in her to make a fella like me fall in love with it. I just noticed Bill's truck has a sticker on the back that says "Kill it and grill it." And that's about as American a statement as an American can state in the States. So let me tell you guys a little story. So 2 years ago, I met Bill. I bought a tachometer off of him for the Astre. This is long before I started building the shop. This was before I even decided to start a YouTube channel. This is before I had any idea that I would end up doing custom paint out of the shop. So I bought a tachometer off of Bill, 75 bucks. I have seen Billy a grand total of 3 times. in my life. I've seen Bill 3 times, and including this time. So it's funny because now Bill's car is in my shop. He's got the 80 Monte Carlo, the white one, that's waiting for a paint job. So recently I was going through some personal stuff, and Bill is like a huge advocate for mental health. So he was like a big source of support for me for that. Out of nowhere, he sends me a message, hey, do you want to go on a road trip? I said, yeah. So now, you know, I mean, I've known him for 2 years. I've chatted a lot with him on Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. This is like the 3rd time I've ever hung out with him. We barely knew each other. We know each other pretty well now, of course. But we're on day 2 of our trip now. I'm driving his truck, his 2021 Dodge Ram. I'm driving his truck in a different country, through a state that I've never driven on, hundreds of miles of road I've never driven on. And it all started 2 years ago with a $75 tachometer. And that, my friends, is why car people are my favorite kind of people.